Well, this is Cal. It's roughly 1965, and what's amazing is there's quite a few people out in the water. But what you have to understand is we had no cords back then, and the best places to go were the places where you could retrieve your board and it'd still be in one piece. Cal's had a nice, smooth, gentle surfing area, and that's why you see a lot of people. Well, you'll see there's not many surfers out, and it's basically the high tide's high, and you lose your board, it's into the rocks. Basically, back in the 60s, we had surf mats and body surfing. And then, of course, the long boards, and then the shorter boards, which were 7.2 single fins. Now, Bob Dubois is one of the founding kneeboarders of Santa Cruz. He came back from Hawaii with a pipo and started showing us a few things. And we all started grabbing plywood and carving it up and warping it and putting single fins on it and started belly boarding and kneeboarding. We would take it into the master bedroom, most likely, take Mom's shower out of her life for 2 days, and put a couple bricks in the shower, and then a couple bricks on top of the plywood, and then soak it. And after 3 days, you had a warped plywood that you wouldn't purl on anymore. Most of these boards are probably 4 feet 2, and they basically were pipos. The original ones had no fins, and then we began to put single fins on them. Bob's boards, they were just a tad longer than everybody else's, a little bit wider, so he was probably riding a 5.2 maybe just a solid 5 foot. Single fins with a V and a tail, most of the time shaped by John Mell. Gary Telepis is riding probably a 16-inch wide board. Spoons, very few people rode them. Gordy was one. Gordy was very selective though. He came out on the bigger days. That's what was required for that board to work. But we avoided contests. It was the whole soul surfer thing back then. We just didn't want to be part of the organization, part of the whole gig. Bob was the only one riding them, and then a couple of the boys from down south would come up. You know, back then there was like 17, 18, 20 kneeboarders that you could find out surfing the lane, surfing Sewer Peaks. Well, Jack White was one of the innovators of Santa Cruz. He just took it on his own to surf it any way he could. He was very light, like a cat. He just would take off on anything and everything. He was fearless when it came to wave selection. And he really pushed a lot of us to our limits. Jack's boards were very small. What he got really good at was twin fin, square tail with a little bit of a pointy tail. 5'2" was probably maximum length he would take, and 18, 19 inches wide. And if you look at him riding, his legs, or rather his knees, are really close together. And he liked that quick in-the-pocket turning ability. You know, the maneuvers are the same as they are now, but the angle, or rather the tack, is a lot tighter. The board's a lot shorter, so you never get a projection off the wave, so you're always in the curl. You're creating the same turns, just not as drawn out. Out of the old crew, I'd say there's only about 3 or 4 that are still knee riding. The rest of them went off on their ways, went to different lives, or picked up different hobbies. So I think we flourished back then, and we just didn't have the people out in the water.